welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing okay. So today's video, as you can see in the title, is going to be an analysis of the fashion and costume design in the new Gossip Girl reboot. And so I never actually finished the original series of Gossip Girl. I love it. As someone who loves fashion and longs to live out my fantasy of living in New York, it's just the perfect programme for me. So you can imagine I was very happy when I heard that they were doing a reboot. Only the first episode has come out so far, and technically it's only come out in America, but we find ways around that. So this video is going to be an analysis of the fashion and costume design in the first episode. But I am also really interested in film as well, so I am just going to quickly kind of like give you my thoughts on the episode as a whole, and then I'll jump into the actual like fashion analysis. I have written a shit ton of notes, so sorry if I keep looking down, but that's where all my notes are. So the soundtrack of the original series is unmatched, but on the reboot, what I've heard so far, it is really good. Obviously, like, the music is going to be more modern, which means it's more relatable, but as soon as I heard Frank Ocean, Super Rich Kids, just sent shivers through me. Cinematographer on this series is Jeffrey Waldron, and I can tell you, like, the cinematography is beautiful. They also address the pandemic as well, which I thought was quite interesting. I'm not sure if it's going to be something which is like continually referenced, or if it was kind of just the first episode. But I thought that was quite interesting because I've not actually seen any TV or film that has actually addressed the pandemic, I don't think. I think the plot is going to be good. I like how they kind of have odes to the original series with like having the pair of best friends, Serena and Blair. But I do like it as well because it's not necessarily who you would expect it to be. Like, it's not the most cliche choice. The diversity in this series is obviously so much better. That was a change from the original, which definitely needed to be made. And I would say it doesn't really feel performative, although I can't really comment on that. The entire cast is stunning, like all of the interior design as well is absolutely beautiful. However, just like the Humphreys in the original series, one of the characters, Zoya, is meant to be kind of like less rich than the others. Yet she still lives in a huge, gorgeous apartment in New York City, so make it make sense. I think it's interesting that we know who Gossip Girl is from the start. I'm not going to give you any spoilers if you haven't seen it, but I'm not sure if I necessarily like the concept of who it is. Also, I'm very excited to see how the storyline plays out between Max, Audrey and Aki. But anyway, into the actual fashion analysis. So in the original series, I obviously like really appreciate all of the costume design, like everything that goes on behind the scenes, and I think the costume design is like very fitting to the context at the time, but it's just not really my vibe. But obviously, like, with more modern times, it's gonna appeal to me more, but the new series is definitely like more my vibe. In this video, I'm just going to focus on the women's costume design, just because I don't really know very much about male costume design. I feel like I'm not very qualified to talk about it. I'm not qualified to talk about women's, but it's just what I'm interested in. I feel like in the reboot, there's definitely more of a focus and interest on fashion from the character's point of view, and I think that's really like fun and interesting to watch. So I've picked out a select few outfits from the first episode which kind of stood out to me. Obviously there's loads of costumes, so I can't choose all of them, but I've just chosen the ones that stood out, and I am just gonna fully just read off my notes because I won't be able to remember them. So in the series, it kind of explains that they have a school uniform, but they customise it, which is just the same as the original. But there are like obviously a few different combinations in this first episode of how they customise their school uniform. So there's a couple that I'm gonna focus on, which I find particularly interesting. So this first look is one of my favourites of the characters customising their uniform. Both Monet and Julian, Monet is on the left and Julian is on the right if you've not seen it. They both have very contrasting vibes with their looks here, but yet they complement each other, which could be symbolic for how Monet comes across as a lot more malicious than Julian, but they work together well. Monet's outfit here is giving me very like reminiscent to Blair Waldorf vibes, And we've seen this on a few characters throughout this episode, such as Zoya and Luna, and I am so glad. I am glad that there is odes to the original characters without it being like too in your face. I don't think it's too in your face. I like how it's not completely overrun with Blair inspired outfits, because as iconic as it is, it's not really that reflective of the current times. Monet's outfit expels confidence, which probably comes alongside all of the money and power she has, which is very quickly introduced in the first episode. This is shown as she's wearing an incredibly preppy look on the top with a blazer, a long sleeve shirt and a thin ribbon necktie, and she's also paired it with a simple pleated skirt which is very short, which is obviously quite a contrast to the very preppy and modest top that she's got on. This outfit of Julian's is the one that stood out to me the most in this episode, and it's definitely one of the favourite of like the school uniform alterations. I definitely think Julian's school uniform like customisations is my favourite. The loose oversized shirt paired with what is either a very short skirt or cycling shorts, I really can't tell. It's such a look and it's very reminiscent of Princess Diana, I think, which kind of just like expels like royalty and shows how Julian is kind of royalty in their school in a sense. I'm not too keen on the bum bag. I do think with all of the money they have, it's a good opportunity to kind of show off their designer bags, but that might be a bit shallow with me. As well as this look, Julian also wears another very similar look to school, and she wears a pair of cowboy boots, and I think that is so cool. So the next look that I'm going to be talking about is from the character Audrey, and this is the outfit that she wears to school, I think on the first day. I think it's the first time that we see her. So I don't really feel like we see much from Audrey in terms of screen time, outfits, or just general insight into what her character is like or how her plotline is gonna go. Although I don't think the show is trying to make her be like the new Blair, she looks so much like Blair, like not necessarily what she wears, but like she actually just looks so much like Blair. Does anyone else see this, or is it just me? Because I think they literally look like they could be sisters. As I said, we don't really see many outfits from Audrey, but this is one that really grabbed my attention and I really love it. I think it gives kind of like cozy fall vibes. I'm not sure when this is actually set, but it's very cozy. The oversized shirt and jumper shows that Audrey is a character who likes comfort, or is maybe a bit less bold than the others. But the fact that she's wearing this shirt as a dress and is pairing it with a pair of very high block-heeled shoes kind of shows that she still does align with the others and she still is a bold character. I really love this outfit. I think she's got a very like classy look to her, and I think we see that like throughout the whole episode. So to continue with Audrey, I'm going to talk about the look that she wears to the fashion show in this episode. So I really couldn't find a good picture of this, which is frustrating. Like I don't know why I couldn't find a picture, so this gif of her in the outfit will have to do. The dress she's wearing is in a nude pink, kind of blush pink tone, which just adds to the kind of soft girl aesthetic that we're getting from Audrey. It's obviously very form-fitting, it's quite a simple silhouette. I think it's a really pretty dress, and I think it's also showing her as quite vulnerable, which is heavily hinted at throughout the plot in this episode. Obviously, it's not as bad as the other girls' outfits, which I will go on to next. I really hope we see a lot more of Audrey, as I love her outfits and I'm really intrigued to see where her plotline goes. Okay, so next we're going to discuss some more outfits from the Christopher John Rogers fashion show. So in this image, it's Luna, Monet and Zoya in that order. So I'm going to talk about their outfits. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. I think I'll start with Monet's outfit first, and she is the one in the middle if you haven't watched it. So I have kind of mixed feelings about this outfit. I love the actual garment. I think the purple is clearly symbolising like the luxuriousness of the garment. The pantsuit is actually from Christopher John Rogers, I believe. And honestly, it's stunning. I absolutely love it. Part of me is a bit confused as the oversized look of this outfit doesn't really align with the more feminine and fitted silhouettes that we've seen on Monet so far. It still has that very tailored, modest silhouette that Monet loves, and it also could symbolise a different side of Monet that is yet to come. Okay, and well, Luna's outfit, we're going to talk about this one next. Luna is the one on the left, if you haven't watched it. I am obsessed with this one. It's one of my favourite outfits of the entire episode. I love the boldness of the pink and orange together, and I think the bright colours really contrasts what Luna has worn so far, but it aligns with a slightly more hippie-esque vibe that the character may slightly be hinting at. I could be completely off with this one. I feel like this can be seen through the flowy fabrics and the sleeves that Luna often wears, and also the stacking of bohemian rings. Also, the name Luna literally means the moon, and obviously that has so many spiritual connotations. The combination of bright colours, a tailored fit and the metallic tones makes this a really sophisticated outfit for Luna. This outfit is a brand called Cincaset, which I've definitely pronounced wrong. But if you have a look at that brand, if you don't already know it, it is gorgeous. Literally everything is so nice. And then finally in this image, I'm going to be discussing Zoya's outfit. So Zoya is wearing an orange Alex Perry sequin dress, and obviously this is a very bold choice. So Julian chose this dress out for Zoya, and obviously it brings a lot of attention to her, which was the plan to draw Gossip Girl's attention in. It feels like Julian decided to make a bit of a spectacle of Zoya, making her wear something which is quite obviously out of her comfort zone, and something that Zoya definitely wouldn't choose herself, which obviously makes Zoya feel all the more uncomfortable when things just completely blow up. Overall, I would say I quite like this dress. When I realised it was a midi dress, I liked it so much more. Obviously, as I said, it's a very bold choice for Zoya from what we've seen so far. I feel like it sparks something inside of Zoya to kind of stand up for herself and be more confident, because as we see later on, which I will discuss in a little bit, she does start to wear a bit more bold choices. So in this episode, Julian walks for a Christopher John Rogers show, and this is going to be the look that we're discussing next. She walks the final look and it looks great on her, and overall I love it. I think the prints on this dress are very on trend. I think the split pattern could symbolise both the free flowing, welcoming and like progressive side of Julian, as well as kind of the more calculating and manipulative side of her, which we've seen in this episode. I literally just made all of that up. That could be complete bullshit, but it makes me sound clever, so I'm gonna keep it in. I think this dress is an interesting silhouette, but I feel like it doesn't really align with what we've seen from Julian so far, which is kind of slightly more on the masculine, a bit more androgynous side. Yeah, overall I don't have too much to say about this one. I think it's nice, obviously, but I think there could be some symbolism in there, but it's for a show, like it's for a designer, so it doesn't really need to align with Julian's personal style to an extent. I'm sure she's just happy that she's walking for a show. Okay, and the final look that I'm going to be talking about today is Zoya's outfit that she wears to school the day after all of the drama and after everything blows up. So Zoya's look after the drama of the night before is so powerful. She's customised her uniform, which is rebellious in itself, but the DIY look to it with the raw hems gives it a bit of a punk feel almost, which foreshadows that Zoya is not going to be quite as submissive as we've seen so far. She's cut the hem of her skirt, leaving it a shorter length and like a jaggedy raw hem, and she's actually used the fabric cut off as a necktie. She's also cut the neckline of her hoodie as well, which again just adds to the overall rough look, which doesn't necessarily give off shabby vibes, but more like powerful and tough vibes. I think it's also important to point out that she's wearing her natural hair, which we haven't seen up until this point. And she's also wearing a tote bag which reads "Recycle Black Dollars," which just further adds to the self-confident vibe that she's radiating. Hey guys, that's it, I think. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I wrote loads of notes. I hope you enjoyed this video. Obviously, if you've not seen the new Gossip Girl yet, this video might not make that much sense to you, but I hope you enjoyed following along anyway. I don't know if anyone even cares about my opinion, but I absolutely loved making this video. But yeah, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't think I'm going to be doing one for every episode because they come out every week and I think that's quite a lot. But if you do like this style of video, do let me know in the comments down below. Yeah, leave a thumbs up if you'd like this, and make sure you subscribe down below. Oh, thank you for 400 subscribers, that's absolutely insane. I know it is obviously a very small number in the grand scheme of things, but yeah, it's just crazy to me. Wow, 400 subscribers. Thank you very much. But if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do, because it makes me very, very happy. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Love you. Goodbye.
Babe,